Eli Gain here at the United Center in Chicago, where Purdue will be playing in the Big Ten quarterfinals after a masterclass performance from point guard Braden Smith, who had 16 assists in this game. That tied a career high for him, but it also set the Big Ten tournament single game record. He is now just 31 assists shy of Bobby Hurley for most assists all time, in a game that Purdue wanted to prove something. They did just that. They go wire to wire against Northwestern. It seemed that they struggled against last week, but this is March, and it's time to turn the table and ramp the season up. For the Boilermakers, ran out to a 24-point halftime lead and then just continued to sort of pile it on there in the second half. The biggest strength for Purdue in this game was down low. Oscar Clough and Trey Kaufman-Renn were both phenomenal. Clough with 19 points and 10 rebounds. Kaufman-Renn adding 19 points as well. And of course, a lot of those points that they had were of service of Braden Smith, who continues to be a surgical doctor when he runs the offense for this Boilermaker team, finding his players once again, setting that single game tournament record, and now gets a little bit closer to the all-time assist record. Of course, after the game, Purdue excited for the victory and ready to advance to the quarterfinals.
Hi, this question's for Braden. I wanted to ask you about that play in the first half where you got the steal, and when you were going out of bounds, you tapped it forward and ended up getting you another assist. But just your mindset at that point, anybody could have just let that ball go out of bounds, but yet you're fighting for it. Kind of take me through your thought process on that play and then maybe how that may have sparked you guys tonight.
Yeah, I mean, when I do those things, it's not really, it's split second to make that decision. And I don't know, I think it's just more habit than anything. I try to get the steal, and then I just try to keep it alive. And if you hit it in the backcourt, I think there was like 6 to 8 seconds left on the shot clock. So I was like, okay, well, if I can hit it in the backcourt, maybe take off 4, they got to dribble up. That's another, at least 2, they're shooting a contested shot from deep. That's what we want. So that's what I try to do. I didn't even see Omar or Jakari who were chasing it down. I just tried to hit it to try to give us more time to roll off the shot clock, and that's really what happened.
Okay, question on the far left.
Braden, that's the most points Oscar's had in a game since Jan 17. There's certain matchups where he's just too big and too good on the inside. Is that something that you guys talk about before a game like this, of this is a game where Oscar needs to really establish himself and be a guy we play through even more?
Yeah, not necessarily. I think for us, it's every game. Like, we want him to have those games every single game, no matter who it is. Whether it's Mara from Michigan guarding him, whether it's Northwestern's bigs, whoever it is, that's what we want. And obviously, we trust him down there to go make plays and to score the basketball, and he showed that. And he continues to do that, and we just trust our guys. And they put a lot of time in and work in. So for us, it's just to feed them the ball when they're open and go make a one-on-one play.
Okay, front row.
Hi, Braden. Jay Cohen, Associated Press. You passed Chris Corciani and Ed Cota tonight. Now you're just behind Bobby Hurley. When I say those names to you and to be mentioned in the same breath with those guys, what does that mean to you? What's the significance of that?
If you want me to be honest, I don't know who either of those guys are. And that's no disrespect to them. I really don't. I know Bobby Hurley, but I don't know.
I know him.
Yeah, I don't know those two guys. But no, I mean, obviously, like, I've been very thankful just to be put around a lot of great guys who can score and put the ball in the basket. And they trust me, and Paint trusts me, the coaching staff trusts me, the players trust me to go out there and make plays. And I think when you give me confidence, I think that's kind of what you want as a player. And they just let me go out there, play free. And yeah, I'll probably throw one in the 4th row every once in a while too. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, they trust me with that, and they trust me with my decisions. And just to be able to do that, it's a great opportunity.
Okay, question far left.
Braden, you and Martinelli are like same recruiting class, like one of 20 high major seniors that have stayed in one place for all 4 years. Like, what memories do you have of competing against him, and like what was it like to kind of go up against him for the last 4 years?
You know, he's a great dude. Actually, this past summer, I came up to Chicago because my agency's up here, but I went to Northwestern and played pickup with Lance, 'cause that's where he's from. So Lance was there, and then Nick was there, and we kind of grew relationship and friendship from there. And he's just a good dude, and obviously he can score the crap out the ball. And just playing against him these 4 years have been, I mean, all the games that we've played have been close, neck and neck, and really fun games to be a part of. And obviously he had a great career, and he's also a great dude. So I got a lot of respect towards him and what he's doing. So.
Okay, 4th row left.
For Oscar, you came out to a really hot start, especially on the boards. How important was it for you guys to come out and set the tone physically early?
Yeah, you know, it's something we emphasize is coming out and showing, like, being dominant on the glass, being dominant in the interior. So that's something we're going to do every game.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions here in the middle.
Braden, Dylan Sin from the Journal-Gazette in Fort Wayne. Just obviously the short roll to Trey has been a huge part of your guys' offense the entire time that you guys have been playing together, but it seemed like it was particularly effective today. Just any particular reason that was working so well in this game and it seemed like it was such a big part of the offense?
Yeah, it's just how teams guard, and obviously different teams play different defenses, and just how they guard. They're playing kind of in between me and him on a ball screen, and that's either me dragging it and shooting the ball, or me hitting Trey on the pocket pass, or he's catching it and swinging it to the corner, whatever it is. It's just reads. And I think for us, like, we went into the game knowing that that's how they play, and that's how they're going to guard the ball screen with me and him. And obviously Trey's a really good basketball player and can make those plays, and we just trust each other.
Okay, last question for the student athletes.
Hey, Braden, the last game you guys played against Northwestern, you struggled for much of the game before kind of putting it together at the end. Did you like getting another crack at them, and what did you feel like was different tonight throughout the game compared to the last game you guys played against them?
Yeah, obviously as a competitor, like, I take it to heart every game that I don't play well. And I honestly, like, other than the assist, I don't think I played great today. I didn't shoot it well, and I thought I had some defensive just parts here and there that I thought I did good at. But I think just overall for us and for me, like, it was good just to get them again and to play them. And I thought defensively we were a lot better. And obviously we kind of let up in that second half there. But if we can do what we did in the first half in the second, make a complete 40-minute game defensively, I think it's going to be real difficult for teams to beat us.
Coach Julian Darnell of the Journey. Braden says he doesn't really know the names of Ed Cota and Chris Corciani, but I know you do. And I know you know the name Bobby Hurley. What does it mean for you to see a guard, a Purdue guard that you're coaching, go through, go up this ranks of that list in terms of assists? What does it mean to you to see that?
Well, obviously, you have to log a lot of minutes, and you got to do it from day one. So you think, those 3 guys are, right in that triangle in Raleigh-Durham. One being NC State, one being Duke, and one being North Carolina. Bobby Hurley and I are in the same grade, which I knew, and he probably doesn't, because he was a good player and I wasn't. And Corciani's a little bit older than I am. I think Ed Cota's 4 or 5 years younger than I am. Ed Cota went to St. Thomas More. I think Corciani went to Miami Senior. And obviously Bobby played for his dad at St. Anthony's. So just to be with those names, like those guys were, it was big time. And that's when, like, if you're in high school or you're watching stuff and you're seeing the guys on ESPN and CBS and you're watching, like, those are the type of games you were watching. And then you get to college and you're watching some of the same guys. And Corciani was fabulous with Rodney Monroe, fire and ice. And then obviously Bobby had all those guys to pass to, with the guys he played with Christian and Grant. And, just a lot of really, really good players. And Ed Cota obviously played with a lot of really good players. And that's something we've kept in perspective for Braden. Like, you got to have guys that can make baskets too, right? Like, you just can't get that award without good players with you. And I think that's what's so humbling about him is that, like, he'd rather pass. He'd rather, set up people. And for us, he needs to do both. But no, it's an unbelievable honor. It's an unbelievable, feat, to be where he is, to be, have the second most assists in the history of the NCAA. He had 1 high major offer, and he's been a lot to our program.
All right, back right.
Dustin Schutte of Purdue on SI. Coach, Oscar's been getting a little bit longer run out of those first 4 minutes into the second media timeout. Just what do you like about bringing him back onto the floor instead of making that substitution that you had been making earlier in the year?
Yeah, I made it earlier in the year, a little bit quicker just from a fatigue standpoint. You gauge people that you haven't coached before, and that's kind of where we're getting with TK. And a couple of those, like, he does some good things. You're like, man, why are you taking him out right there? But then you got to make it a shorter runway for the next guy. And that's not fair because sometimes they do some good things. You're like, oh man, that guy just hit a shot. Why'd you take him out? And because you're putting TK back in. And it's something that we've done, with Oscar and just tried to gauge him as much we could in terms of his fatigue and where he's at. I think you saw a couple plays there. He had a great game, but he had a couple plays. He shot an air ball from 3 feet. It's hard to do. And I think it's a pretty good sign you're fatigued at that point. You're not always going to get those glaring reminders like that someone's tired, but you got to be able to coach the game. But I'm always talking to the people around me. It's like, man, you got to look in their eyes. You got to make sure with guys with size. We've had a lot of guys with size that, you know, they'll come in and score 3 times in a row, and they'll be whatever. But then you stay with them because they did that, and then all of a sudden they make 2 defensive mistakes, mess up on offense, and then you go to the next game and you do it again, and you're like, but you don't like taking somebody out who scores 3 times in a row. Like, you know, hey, let's keep going to them. But if that's their wall and that's their threshold when it comes to fatigue, you know, you got to get them out before it happens. And so, and it doesn't look right, but after 30 some odd games, it is right. You know, you got to do what's best, but we also have to do well when we sub, and sometimes we've had inconsistencies there.
Okay, right here in the middle.
Coach Dylan Sin from the Journal-Gazette again, right here on your right. You talked a little bit on Saturday about what you have to do in the postseason to have success and the possibility of kind of, for lack of a better term, flipping a switch when the postseason starts. Did you see any heightened level of focus from your team over the last couple of days in preparation for this game?
I thought we were better on the defensive end in the first half. Obviously, in the second half, we weren't. And I think that's a important piece for you. Like, the more stops you can get, the more you can dominate the glass, the more you can get in transition. Like, you got to steal points. And so, today we have 16 offensive rebounds, and that's going to help you. That's, not all the times you get offensive rebounds, you're getting stickbacks, you're getting spray out threes, but you're also getting fouled a lot. And so the more you can do that, to Northwestern's defense, they didn't have, Arrington Page. So I think that plays into effect. Like, we were just trying to wear those guys down. We really were just trying to wear Nick Martinelli down. We were trying to get fouls on him, get him out of the game. But yeah, it's a hard question to answer because we played Wisconsin. Now we're not playing Wisconsin. Like, you're playing a different style, different team. And so I think that's what comes out sometimes when you play different styles, different talent levels. Guys that make it hard. Like, Nick makes it really hard for everybody in our league. So that's the focus point. But at the end of the day, they make 6 threes a game. They made 6 threes now. But in that second half, when they're making that run and making those threes, it didn't seem like they were going to only make 6. It seemed like they're going to make 16. So, like, now, do you want to make an adjustment and, stop over helping some on him and stay home? But for the most part, I thought our guys were ready. We just got to play 40 minutes of consistent defense.
Time for 2 more questions right up front.
You're kind of old hat at this now, but how do you balance the rigors of this tournament, playing on multiple days in a row, while also kind of making sure your team is rested and ready to go for the NCAA tournament, like balancing both challenges?
Yeah, really hard to do because you're just trying to win the game in front of you. But then, you can make some moves strategically in terms of minutes and substitutions that can help you in the long run. Well, if you get beat, there's no long run, right? So you always come in and people always talk about, hey, this guy needs to rest more. This guy doesn't need to get to this minute threshold. But no, you just try to win the game. It's if you have the ability to do that, you have a damn good team. Like Michigan, maybe Michigan can do that. Like maybe Illinois can do that. I just if you can just feel that, hey, we can dominate this. We're going to be okay no matter what, so be it. But the rest of us, the other 99%, I think that's really hard. I think you got to do everything in your power to try to win that game in front of you. But you also have to understand that you can have a lot of success. Michigan had a lot of success in this tournament last year, and their seed did not move. They might have slid up a little bit, but they stayed where they stayed. And so, after you've done it for 21 years, you realize that. I didn't used to realize that. You're just like, hey, this is where you are. We're going to be a 3-seed or a 4-seed. We're right there on that. But sometimes you don't play heavy hitters. We're playing a team that's a 3-seed right now in our next game. So that can that could have some effect there. Sometimes when you don't play people like yourself, a 2-seed, a 3-seed, a 4-seed. Obviously we have a 1-seed still in the tournament. Illinois is a 2-seed, Michigan State's a 2-seed, I think Nebraska's a 3-seed, and we're a 4-seed if we're all following the same thing. So you're right in there. You got a chance to play some people here. If you can win your next game, and really help yourself. And I think probably more help yourself get prepared for the NCAA tournament, because this is the caliber of teams that you're going to play.
Okay, last question up front.
Yeah, Matt Scott Dockerman with The Athletic. I've heard some coach, the grind of the Big Ten is unique even across the spectrum of college basketball. I've heard some coaches refer to it as expletive you February in some respects when you get close to the end, just because of the teams you're playing, and in your case, you're right there. Is there any way that you can take those experiences and help you propel you into that tournament, or do you sometimes need to just kind of relax off of it because you're playing completely different teams, and it's almost like you're unshackled because you're playing somebody who doesn't know you that well?
Yeah, I think it just depends on like who you get, and like people always will ask you before, like, you think this is a good draw, or like this, whatever. You don't know, like you don't know until you play them, like you don't like. But I do think I saw something the other day. I don't know if this is accurate, that in our game tomorrow we'll have the most quad one opportunities, not the most quad one wins, but the most quad one opportunities. I have come to that belief that you have to schedule as well as you can, because those experiences, even in some failure, we've had a lot of success. We've had more success this year on the road than at home, which makes no sense, right? And so, but we were 7-3, 8-3 on road games. Then I think we're undefeated neutral, if I got it right. And so, like, I think that helps you. I think that confidence helps you of being away from home. We've had years where we're 10-0 at home, and then we're 5-5 on the road, or 6-4 on the road. I'm using the 20-game schedule, and it's not always been that. But I think that's the piece, is like keep having experiences. Sometimes when people overschedule, and then they like they get mad about stuff, but I'd rather overschedule and be mad than underschedule and not make the tournament. Makes sense? Like, I just think that, you know, this will be, if we can get a top 4 seed, this will be 9 straight years we've been a top 4 seed. And so, like, we just work towards the scheduling of who we're playing non-conference. Now, you got to win some games, right? People do that and they lose games, and they get mad and say that doesn't work. Like, you know, you got to win some games. So I do think the more experiences you can have, the travel, just the toughness of everything, you know, a bad whistle, like whatever it might be, any adversity right there, you got to just flip it and use that to make you a stronger team. And like, hey, we've been here, we've been through this. Like, I got guys that have played, I've had guys that have been in championship games, I've had guys lose a 116 game. Like, we've been on that roller coaster, man. Like, it's disappointing at time, and it's just unbelievable, because this is everything that you've worked for. We're in a Final Four. We're playing for the, like, you know, like, this is pretty cool. Like, but we look back and say, did we do our job as a staff to get them prepared with our work and our schedule? I think some people miss on that. You're starting to see, in my opinion, more elite high major programs doing it, because they're seeing the model, because they're not going to penalize you on Sunday for that. You know, you're gonna get, you know, a lot of support in that room when you say, hey man, Purdue's got the most quad one opportunities. They didn't take advantage of all of them, but man, they scheduled up, and I don't think that's gonna, you know, drop us. Anybody that's got to, you know, be on that seed line next to us in comparison, you know, you know, you got one up on them right there. So, but there's just so many things you can't control after you're done playing. Like, you know what I mean? We're done playing our games now, but now we can. We're still playing these games. And when you go head-to-head with people you're competing against on those lines, you know, like now, like, do something about it.
You know, attacking first, being a scoring threat first. And so once he can score the ball, then, you know, him being open to, you know, hit the guys on for good looks, I think that's what really starts.
How much does defense creating offense play into the best version of this team?
I mean, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, we're such good offensive players, in my opinion, that whenever we can get stops and we can get transition points, you're not playing the half court the whole time. You know, it makes the game so much easier. When we score and we defend, obviously, but when we defend really well, we're a really hard team to stop.
What kind of a just burst do you get out of a play like that one that Braden made, knocking the ball loose, throwing it down the court, literally turning defense into offense with one?
Yeah. I mean, he plays hard, you know, and so when you have a leader like that who's able to, you know, throw his body and save a ball like that. It just really energizes the team.
Did they change anything about the way they were guarding you guys? Like you made all those cover threes.
Oh yeah. They changed a couple times their short roll coverage. They started out blitzing, and then it was kind of what they did at home, hit some corner threes, and then they were trying to play drop coverage for a little bit, but we still got it. And then they ended up switching later in the game, and so we have counters for everything. I thought we did a good job of that last year. That was basically our offense, so I thought we did a good job adjusting, on the fly to what they were doing.
Did you expect to see a completely different game plan from them coming in since you played so recently?
Yeah, probably. Even though it was a close game, at the end of the game we started getting really good looks. And so whenever you're getting really good looks by good shooters, they have to switch something up, or you're going to have what happened in the first half.
You were just sort of lamenting having to be playing get away somewhat. That was obviously what happened when the first time you played Nebraska too. Just what are you expecting out of this rematch?
I expect them to play hard. I thought we did a great job, rebounding, being physical. We had a lot of energy going into that game. And so, again, another really good team, really good coach. So they're going to be ready for us.
Floater, a little more of a weapon last year. Haven't had as many chances this year. Did you get into a rhythm with it today? Did you know it was coming? Like you had that space?
Yeah, it's, they've been, Michigan State did it. Obviously they did it. Ohio State did it. They've been sticking their 5 on me. And so, then we go to ball screen coverages, and it's almost like last year. And so, whenever we can do that and I can get the ball right there, I just had a higher dosage last year. But like you said, I just got in a rhythm early, and then once that shot goes, it's really hard to stop.
Yeah, they got a couple guys that struggle to shoot it, so not getting behind when we get out and hedge and we get behind, then we're in rotations, and that's when they get in the paint. So just being more steady, doing our job, and when you can't hedge it, drop. So we did a good job on our ball screen defense.
Last one here. This group has experienced a lot in March over the last, for you, 4 seasons.
Yeah.
What can you draw upon from previous runs, postseasons, that you can bring into postseason play here?
Yeah, starting off just playing good basketball. The Big Ten tournament's obviously a lot. It's 4 games in 4 days, so you want to look for playing good basketball, doing your job, and getting ready to go in the NCAA tournament. So obviously a crappy end to the regular season for us, but I think we know the talent and the group we have. So just getting our flow, getting our confidence back, and then obviously playing hard as hell to win games.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Kind of mentioned kind of the slump at the end of the regular season, but I know you guys have a lot to prove still, and you guys want to. What was it like to kind of go out there and sort of just set the standard, set the tone, especially once the middle of that first half started?
Yeah, just doing our job, going out and winning against a team that we should beat. And but we were hooked up. We did what we were supposed to do.
Braden, obviously, surgical once again, dissecting everything offensively. Seen him tie his career high, set a Big Ten tournament record. What did that mean?
He's an impressive player. I love playing with him. So even a team where they put 2 on the ball and try to trap him, get out of his hands, he's still dicing them up and finding the open guy.
Nebraska, obviously, opponent you've seen. It's a physical game, as good as a game we've seen in the Big Ten this year. What is it about them that makes this a good matchup for you guys, and what makes you look forward to it?
Yeah, they got great players and they got a great coach. So taking what we did in that first game and continuing to execute that, but we're not dumb. We know they're going to adjust. We know they're going to fix some things, and at the end of the day, you just got to play harder than Nebraska.
What did you guys do a little bit, I don't know, differently, but how'd you like just the defensive side of the ball, how you guys were able to play?
Today? We were just hooked up. We weren't chasing guys that can't shoot. We weren't. We were defensive rebounding. We didn't turn it over, so they didn't get many transition points. We just did our job, did what we talked about doing.
And obviously post-play, big runs through Oscar and Trey. What was this opening things up for them that you saw from the outside?
Yeah, when they want to hedge and trap like that, it's going to be they're going to be late to the rotations. Especially they were small tonight without their big guys. So just being ready to attack the paint and our big guys sealing them off and catching the ball.
I feel like this win just sets us up even more for the rest of this Big Ten tournament and preparing us for who we have to play for Nebraska.
What was it like kind of watching Braden just carve everything up again out there?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, I've been playing with him the past 2 years, and the stuff he does is really remarkable. He just got a second all-time assist, so I'm really proud for what he's done.
As got to feel like a pretty good springboard for you guys headed into tomorrow with a performance like that.
Yeah, definitely. Getting this big win definitely gives us that confidence in the next game, and now just getting prepared for Nebraska.
Which game you guys had a massive win against them. It was probably one of the best Big Ten games of the year. What about that opponent brings out the best in each other when you go head-to-head?
Yeah, I feel like Nebraska's a very good team. They have guys who can score in all different ways, so just us coming prepared and locking in for this next game tomorrow would be huge.
I think, obviously for me personally, it's my first Big Ten tournament game. But we as a group, just like we know that we haven't been doing our job in the level that we can do it in the past games. So I think, just coming in here, being really, really aggressive on the defensive end, first of all, has been huge, like for us from the start. But yeah, we'll learn from the good stuff and the bad stuff, and we'll get ready for Nebraska tomorrow.
Obviously, we know how much of a surgeon Braden can be running the point there. Him setting a career high, setting a Big Ten tournament single-game record. What does it just say about him night in and night out to go out and have a performance like that?
I mean, Braden is a special player. I heard Fletch say it, like he just gets wherever he wants to. And he really, really knows how to navigate players on offense and on defense. So, man, he's special. He's special. It's great, for me personally, it's great to have him as a kind of a big brother for this year.
Obviously, that game against Nebraska earlier this year was one of the better ones in the Big Ten. I mean, I know you guys had the lead. It ended up going to overtime. And what is it about that team? What's it going to take tomorrow to kind of battle with them again?
I think they're a really, really good team. And obviously, they've been showing that. Very aggressive, great defensive team, very talented and very well coached. I think it starts obviously on defense, controlling the rebound both on defense and on offense, being able to just stay with your main, get them out of the paint, and on offense once we're getting defensive stops and getting in rhythm, we are really good offensively. So our focus is on defense.
So Purdue will have a rematch against the number 2 seed in this tournament, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Earlier this year, Purdue went on the road, seemed to be well within a dominating victory, only to see their lead slip away. Nebraska forced overtime before Purdue pulled it off in the final seconds. As the Boilermakers are once again in the quarterfinals, trying to build up some more wins before Selection Sunday. We're going to have all the coverage for you on air on Channel 13, as well as right here online on WTHR+. Signing off for now from the United Center in Chicago, I'm Eli Gain for 13 Sports.